So I was doing what I usually do every day, checking out X and scrolling to try and find the latest lotteries to enter to win a box or a pack of something, anything. And also to try and find that Honsho Marine card that's going to be released in V-Jump in October, and of course can't ever win anything, when I stumbled across some interesting news that I thought I'd talk about today. And it's concerning two trading card games which are ceasing to make new content. They are Rebirth for You and Schwarz Blue, or Bleh, or Blah, or whatever the hell it's called. Now, I did some digging onto the Bushiroad website, and I can't find an actual reason that these two sets, or these two card games rather, have stopped making new sets. But I think we can put the jigsaw pieces together and really kind of understand why they have stopped. So yeah, let's take a look at Rebirth for You. So this trading card game, has been around since 2020, so about 6 years now. And they've had some really big sets over their time. They had things like Hololive, Bang Dream. And taking a look at their website, we can see quite a few different interesting sets. Here's the Order of Rabbit, Konosuba, I can see. There's a lot of different and interesting sets that they've had. So why now? Why have they stopped now? I think there's a few reasons. I think one is, if we take a look at some of the newer sets, they're just not quite as universal as some of the previous sets that they've had. They're a bit more niched, I believe. So while they probably get people buying a few packs or opening it to collect, I doubt there are many players that really get into using any of these new sets. I've been aware of Rebirth for You for quite a while. I often see it in card shops. When you go into a card shop, you've got the big staples at the front, right? I'm talking Yu-Gi-Oh!, Pokemon, Magic, One Piece now. They're all at the front. Then you've got a few more a little bit further back, Build Masters and things like that. And then Rebirth always seems to be right at the back of the shop. It's in between the baseball cards and the Gravia idols with their very big personalities. The other set that's ceasing to make new products is Schwarz Bleh, blah, 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 blah. And I think that's another reason why Schwarz Bleh has decided to stop making new products, and that's because of the audience for it. Correct me if I'm wrong, I don't have great knowledge on this topic, but I feel like it's more centered for male-oriented cards. So I remember some Schwarz Bleu sets, like, I'm going to say blue, because I don't know why I keep saying bleh. Schwarz Blue sets, like Conan, Chikua, right? So these tend to try and attract a female audience, I believe, and not to try and sound bad or anything, but I feel like the majority of the trading card audience, especially the players, tend to be, boys and men rather than girls and ladies. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. I would love to be wrong on that. But every time I go to a card shop, I feel like the majority of the people in there are usually youngish guys, right? Junior high school, university, me, 35-year-old man. So, Chikua and Conan, for example, are probably just not that popular with the biggest base. Weiss also has different sets as well. Schwarz Rose and Schwarz. And then we move into probably the biggest reason, the thing I mostly want to talk about, is the oversaturation of the trading card game market. There are many, many new sets now, right? Many, many new card games. I mean, talking about Rebirth, they had Hololive, right? I think they had Quintessential Quintuplets, I believe, as well. Both of those are now trading card game series, standalone. Schwarz Blue had Conan. Conan now has its own standalone trading card game. There's a new trading card game for Harry Potter now, for some reason. So with all these new shiny card games coming out, some of these small, minor card games are going to lose their core players, and there's not going to be enough of them to make it worthwhile to make new products. And that's something that I want to state at the end of this video. They're not ceasing. They're not dead. They're just not making new products. They said that they're going to continue to support what they have. So, you can still enjoy these cards and playing it. If you do, it's probably just not going to expand any further than that. which is a bit of a shame, I think. Yeah, for fans of Rebirth and Weiss, Schwarz, Blue, that really does kind of suck. But I feel like with this oversaturation of the market, we're just going to see more and more of this kind of thing, where these smaller card games are just eventually going to stop ceasing to make things and maybe cease entirely. And that sucks. This is my second of this kind of news talking style video. The first one was about the One Piece controversy in Shonen Jump. And this one also is kind of like bad news. So like, I don't want to be like a negative Nancy all the time, a bad news Dan. So I want to end with a bit of like light-hearted news that kind of give you a flutter in your chest and a smile on your face and all that shit. And I'm going to talk about a kind of news article that I found on Yahoo mentioning a gym battle that happened in Hyogo Prefecture here in Japan. Near, I believe, Akashi Station. I've never been to Hyogo, so I don't know. But there was a gym battle for Pokemon, right? Where many people go and they play the game and they battle each other, right? Well, only one person turned up at this event. I think it was like a boy as well. I don't know how old he was. But yeah, only one person turned up at this event. So, you'd think the obvious thing to do would be to cancel the event, right? Like, how are you going to have a battle when there's just one person? But no, the staff in their shop, they put on their dual discs, they shuffle their decks. I know dual discs is from Yu-Gi-Oh! I know. They put their mats on and they dueled this guy instead. And that's cool. I think that's really awesome. This poor guy, he's turned up at this event, he wants to play, and there's no one to play with. Immediately you're just like, well, I'm just a loser, I imagine. It probably what he was feeling. There's no one to play with. Oh, what do I do? So then the shop staff are like, no, I got you, bro. Let's play together. And that's pretty cool, I think. That's really nice to see, the community banding together, even in such a small shop. So, yeah, shout out to them. I can't remember the name of the shop. Let me check. I believe the card shop was called Card King Akashi. Card King Akashi, I believe it's called. So yeah, shout out to them. Great work there. I think that's really cool. And yeah, just a nice little bit of news to finish with there. That's the end of this video. Like, subscribe, and all that. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.